All right, so today I wanted to go over two stocks, specifically PayPal and Square. They're both in like the payment system space. Um, so, kind of maybe if you're looking at two different stocks and you're trying to determine which one I want to go with, maybe it's longer term, or if I'm just trying to compare the two, uh, which one might give me a better return. And I've kind of done this before. If you've watched, whenever you're looking at gold and silver, there's a ratio that whenever the ratio between gold and silver gets to a certain place, you're looking at silver to go up. Whenever it's the opposite, it's better to buy gold if you're trying to long one or the other and trying to determine which one is going to give me more bang for my buck, more return. So I'm going to do that with this one. But first, I want to go over each chart, and then we can look at it separately, or that and that ratio, and kind of see which one would be better at the moment. If you're trying to determine which one you would want to go with. So, I kind of prepared for this a little bit. I went back. I've marked the TD sequential areas of support. If price starts to break down, we are on a 9 in PayPal. Um, on a weekly, on a daily, we're on a 2. We did have a green number, but close above prior green number above the 9, so that was bullish. On the 4 hour, we're on an 8. We're going to get a 9 most likely tomorrow, unless price breaks down below 249. If I'm looking at some longer term trends like RSI, it really hasn't broken out yet. This consolidated, and it looks like we're trending back up. Same thing on the weekly. We just broke out. We're on a 9. I'm cautious. If I'm being honest, though, I mean, your entry really was your 100% entry based on this weekly strategy was right here, kind of like at 150. That's what would have been an ideal 100% all-in entry. You would be up, over 70%. But and here's the thing about it: whenever things at all-time highs, it's not something I usually am looking into, especially whenever I have my RSI kind of already trending up and I'm in an overbought area. Now, RSI can stay overbought for an extended amount of time, but if I bring up my CMF, I'm getting divergence there on the weekly. On the daily, the same thing. It's actually trending really down. You can kind of see where I drew these resistance areas. We can possibly be ranging between, say, 220 and 250. I did draw a Fibonacci retracement on here. So if price does start to trend down, you could look for right around 212, I guess, being the first support area. So that's PayPal. Let's look at Square real quick. So Square, we had an 8. Now this 8 was as high as the 6. So on TD sequential, if the 8 is as high as the 6, I mean, the 6 could be the reversal, and we did have a breakdown of 4%. Went up, as high as a 6. We didn't get the 9 count on the weekly. Daily, it's kind of the same thing. These all are areas of resistance. If price comes down on the 4 hour, you have a 9 that formed here. I would say that you have some support. There's a lot of support areas right here between this, 190 and, 240. That's a big swing, though. That's like over 20%. I don't think anyone wants to lose 20% of their money. These moving averages are starting to kind of top out and kind of maybe flatten out. That could mean that there could be time of consolidation. I mean, this thing ran up a lot. Again, this is another one I'm not trying to take a position on, but I did say that we would look at the ratio. So let's see what that looks like. So here we go. So let's look at this on the weekly. And I don't know when these IPO, but this is what the data is. Let's just take this as the upper bound, and then we're kind of at the lower bound. So what this is telling me is, let me put these lines here. So if I'm trying to choose between the two, let's put them here, and let's put it here, because looks like it's bottomed out. Let me just write something in here too. So let's write, oh, yeah, I guess that's what I wanted to do. So this is what this line is going to represent. So this would mean buy Square. Nope, that's not how you spell square. That's how you spell square. So this upper line would mean if I'm looking at something and I'm bullish on both, and maybe they're both starting their trends, which one am I gonna go with? It's gonna kind of depend on where this line is. This is gonna be buy PayPal. All right. So right now we're on this lower bound. So if I'm looking between the two and I'm bullish on both, which right now I'm kind of not. I mean, personally, I'm not buying either of them, but just for the purpose of looking at this, we're on the lower end, and looks like major support. So since March, the return was better on Square than PayPal, but now we're on this lower bound. So if I'm looking to choose between the two, and the chart was a little bit better on PayPal, I'm gonna buy PayPal and look for this to trend up. That could mean that the returns on PayPal are going to be greater, or if the market starts to turn down and I had to choose somewhere to park my money, I mean, you would want to go to cash if you think the market's. We'll look at the market real quick too. I'll look at the S&P. That PayPal is going to have less of a turn down. So if I'm looking between these two right now, if I had to choose between one or the other, based on this analysis, I'm looking at PayPal. My money will be better in PayPal if this holds true. This looks good. I mean, I like this. I use this in gold and silver. But yeah, I'm buying PayPal if I'm choosing between the two. But so that's the two I want to go over. I would feel like I'm late to either one of them. I do have, we do have an on. You could wait to see if we have some strength. We did break this 70 on the RSI. I mean, but I'm not looking. Is this thing going to run up another? Like I said, on that ratio. Look at it again real quick. So whenever I say it, you can understand. So here, I would have bought Square in March, and now I'm going to buy PayPal. So we can just kind of compare it, right? This is telling me that Square would have gave you a better return since March of 2020. Let's look at that. So you can kind of prove it to yourself. You don't have to look at this ratio. Sometimes looking at ratios is difficult or hard to understand. So March, say I got in here, my return would have been 390%, about over 300. Let's just go to PayPal so you can kind of see how this ratio works. PayPal should have given me less of a return, and it did, 180%. So yeah, that ratio works. We just proved it to ourselves that ratio is what I said it was. You would have bought Square over PayPal, and you would have made more money on Square. What was that return? Am I going to get another 300 something? No, I don't think so. I think we're at the upper limit. I mean, this is trending down. This is telling me that the chart, even before I looked at that ratio, that there's more weakness in Square than there is in PayPal. If I want to choose between the two, even though we're on a 9, I'm going to choose PayPal over Square right now. But I'm honestly, I'm not buying either of them. If I'm looking for a long-term hold, maybe. But I said if there could be some turn down in the market, let's look at it. Market came on a 9. We went higher than a 9. This doesn't. I mean, we're on the upper end. I'm not seeing anything as far as. Yeah, I mean, this is trending down a little bit. I'm not bearish on the market at all. I'm not really over bullish. We are at all-time highs. We could get a pullback. Let's see what the monthly is. I usually don't look at the monthly. Yeah, we can have another good month. 8. How often do these? Yeah, we had a 9. We ran up. It's all the way back in December 2016. That's before Trump started his office. So, yeah, I mean, maybe we get some little pullbacks in the market, but if I'm looking to buy something, I'm going to buy PayPal. Just the initial analysis was that Square was showing weakness. PayPal, maybe at best neutral. Am I going to get another 300-something run like I did in March? No. It's kind of hard to put a top in. I would say best case scenario, let's look at PayPal, because that's the one we're going with if we're choosing between the two. Let's see. Let's just reverse this. You can do the opposite with his Fibonacci's. Best case scenario, it's a big run up. No way it's going to 350. I don't even know what the market cap of PayPal is. Let's add some more of these Fibonacci retracements. Really on the lower end. I don't need all these other ones. Best case scenario, I'm saying 300. What's the market cap of PayPal? Let's look. I like to go to this 8 market cap. I think that's what. Was that it? Is that the right one? 8 market cap? Yeah, this is it. PayPal has a market cap of not high enough to list. I thought it would be on this. Yeah, I thought they had a higher market cap. Oh, there it is. 295 billion. So 295. If I gained another $40 on it, what would that give me? Let's see. Where's my calculator? This is going to be a rough estimate. I would go $40 on top of... Let's just do the percentage and I'll multiply that up. Oh, it's it right there. 27. So I'd multiply this current market cap by that. 295.26 times 1.272. That'd be me $375 billion market cap. Sure, I mean that would put it above Nvidia, right around Walmart. For the sector, is that high? I'm not sure. But I would say that's best case scenario. So you're looking at, oh no, that's the Fibonacci retracement. I did that wrong. I'm sorry. That'd be an 18%. That'd be 18%, not 27% from its current market cap. Where was it at? I think it was 295, right? Yeah, 295. So 295 times 1 point, about that. So about 350 billion. Again, still, sure, I guess. I'm not quite sure. I just know technically, I'm not getting into it. If I'm looking for a target, maybe 18% from where we're at, is that worth your while based on the potential? Maybe we get a couple more weeks. I don't know. You could take a position and expect, conservatively 5, optimistically maybe 15. So you size your position based on that. And where am I wrong? Where do I get out of this? That's important, right? If I'm entering it here, I'm exiting here. This is a breakdown because you're going to get your 9 tomorrow. You're exiting here at 241. That would be a 4% drop. So on a 4% drop or more, you'd be exiting your position. You'd be potentially going for 5%. That's a 1-to-1 trade. You try to usually get 3-to-1 on your returns. So I'd pass on it personally. But again, if you absolutely have to pick one, PayPal would be your buy. So that's done. Let's go to what I love to look at all the time, Bitcoin. We had dropped last week. I haven't looked at this in a while or done an analysis on it. So at least in a couple of days, a full analysis. This was the dip, ran all the way up to 9, pulled back, secondary high. We've been consolidating. Our 1 hour would have got us in. We're just consolidating. We had this 30 MA on the 4 hour was major support on the way up. We broke down, went above it. Now it's looking like it's a little bit of resistance. We had an 8. We retested this area. I had said a couple of days ago, whenever we had initially this drop, I wish it would have gone here. That would have been a retest. Look what happened. Boom. These are high probability of coming back down. That we retested that, so I can take that off my chart. Or why didn't I delete it? Did I delete the wrong one? Nope. I just didn't click on it. Oh, maybe I had multiple on there. Maybe I did. Yeah, I guess I did. So this was on the 4 hour here. 9. I mean, I would have liked for this to get retested with a green number, like this really surge up and come, all the way back to, 32, 32, 173 above that. We closed at almost 31. I'm still bullish on Bitcoin. We had all these indicators kind of reset. The RSI came down a little bit. The daily definitely came down. I said whenever we were overbought, we find support around 50 and 40. We're at 40 between those areas. We essentially found support at 43. Divergence, bullish divergence here. Now we got a 1. This could be the trend back up. There was some talk on Twitter, because I'm on Twitter, about this going back lower. I kind of got a little frustrated on what I was reading. Is this where I wanted to go? Maybe I have a link here. No, I don't. I'll just click on my regular Twitter. It's something I posted a couple days ago, so it's not that big of a deal. Profile, tweet. So there were, when's the bottom? Where's it at? Where did I post it? Maybe I should have prepped before for this too, instead of you going through my Twitter feed. Yeah, here it is. So, weekly SAR. It said keep it simple, buy whenever the weekly SAR breaks. Back in 2016, we had a drop, 27%. Weekly SAR broke, that's when you bought. Here, 38%, bought. This one, 37%, you bought there, that would have been the dip buy. This one as well. We almost got there, missed it by less than 3%. Here, later, mid-July 2017, that would have been perfect buy. We broke it. Here, same thing here. Broke it, buy. We haven't broke it. We came extremely close. We came less than 4% last week. I said eventually this would break. Doesn't necessarily have to break. In 2013, it kind of ran up and then broke down whenever we had that double peak. I did say that we would get this double peak. It looked like we were forming this double peak on Bitcoin. We should have been a lot higher if we were going to get that, which is okay. If we don't, I would rather not. I would rather just get one high and then we pull back to, bearish cycle. So I'm okay with us not being there. We most likely should have been over 50,000 by now if we were going to get that double peak. But I still think on track for 100,000. Our models. So I like to pull up this Mayer multiple. We've come down, but we're still, the high end of this is 70,000. I like to use Willy Woo's chart. I like to look at this. His top end is at 98,000 now. This thing's been amazing calling the top. So yeah, we're on track for 100. Stock to flow model, we're pretty much where we should be. This is saying 28. We're above it. This is 100,000 target. If you look at the cross asset model, that's even more bullish. This is saying we're going to get around 2 something, quarter million. But this isn't timed. I mean, there's a timeline here, but it's not a time dependent model. So we're still good, still bullish on Bitcoin. This isn't the top. I don't think it's the top. We're moving up. So that's Bitcoin. I don't want to spend too much time on that. I mean, you should have bought. I mean, if you're looking for entries, that was a great entry. I talked about the Lucid SAR. I'll bring that up. We trended up. It should have broken basically 27,700. Now we're at 28,735, 730 something. Maybe we get a dip down. We just have so much support at 30,000. I would be surprised if we went below that again. I say I'd be surprised. It wouldn't be unexpected. But since we've gone down here, wick with such support, maybe a couple weeks and it breaks, and this might never break, not until the bull cycle starts for this. The bear cycle starts for this phase of the halving cycle for Bitcoin. That we'll go to our highs and then maybe we pull back, consolidate. What's that low going to be? Depends on what our high is. If we go to 100 or 300,000, you might still be buying below the low of the bear cycle. Maybe the bear cycle's at 60 or 70,000. This is still pretty much half that. So, anything else? I did say I had shorted a stock last week. I bought some put options. This is the one. What made me do that? I was doing some stock screening. I saw that we were above this 9. We had hit a daily 9. It was this day right here, the 19th. We hadn't retested it with a red number yet, so I took a position here, bought some puts, and that would have been, it ran up on me a little bit, but I'm still confident, right? Because we're going to retest this area. Where's the 19th at? Let me get rid of this. This is cluttering me up. Yeah, I even think it was after this. Was it the 19th? Let me look real quick. Pretty sure it was the 19th. It was... It was the 19th. Yeah, I was right. It was the 19th. So I bought on the 19th. I bought on the 19th, and I sold on the 21st. So it was 2 days. And the return, it should have been a lot higher. I exited with about a 7% return, which wasn't bad. It would have been more. I believe I bought the put for 70 cents, and it got as high as 93. So could have potentially made 28%. Got 7. Didn't get the top. It had, I believe I sold. Yeah, I sold whenever it hit this 9, but then we went lower, and it hit the TD9. Yeah, I sold right here whenever we got the 2760, and that warranted me about a 7-8% return. It went lower, so it would have, it hit the lower, the daily. No, it hit the daily there too. Yeah, it hit the 4 hour, and I got out because that was my target anyway, and I took the profits. Yeah, I sold my puts to ended up making another 20% on them, but that's fine. I'm okay with that. It's not about being catching the bottom. It's about setting a target, executing that trade, and being profitable. Yeah, and I knew it was in the morning. And it hit a 9, flattened, and then went lower. So, and it could go to this lower area, 26. We can look at some other indicators. There was definitely bearish divergence on a bunch of stuff. So, like the CMF had already started falling off the cliff on the 19th here. It did go up, but there was already divergence there. On the daily, it had already started to fall down on the 19th. Well, that was the peak. But it was the 4 hour that I entered on, because usually whenever I'm shorting something, I use the 4 hour. So that was there. You can see the RSI had probably broken as well, or it was trending down. Yeah. So that tells me, well, it went up, but we were so overbought. Either way, 7-8%. I entered that short based on that information. On the TD9 being there, and then us having some divergence on the CMF. Oh, yeah. And then one of my buddies had tipped me off to this Fubo. This had gone up, tremendously, $60 after, it IPO'd last year in October, and it just essentially went to the roof. If you would have bought the IPO, 400 and something percent return, 5x, 400% ROI, depending on where no one always gets the IPO, but I mean, it was still a great trade. So what made me want to buy this? It goes back to our simple 1 hour strategy, 30 MA. It was the EMA that actually was better for this. I saw it gap up on the 12th, held, broke down, and then it did the same thing here. And it ran. So I looked at this. I was like, okay, the price opened up high. We went up. This was a reversal candle, 9, came down. This could potentially do the same thing. So entered here, up about 14% from the entry. We came down, but hey, I have an exit now. We're at a 9. Again, green number above a prior green number, above the 9, a previous 9. We can go higher. There's a there's a 9 on the 4 hour. This is like a trading area, and this is forming the cup and handle that I tell you about. If we break out, and we went this 4 hour here, if we can break out above this high, this $40, even maybe this high, which is at 41.43, this is emotional selling. There's going to be emotional buying as well to go back up to this 9. This trade could turn into something that is, doing well for me now, around 14, 15%, that could go back up to highs and be an 80%, more than 50% return. Not saying it's going to do it. It had time to sell off. We went back to this 9 to retest all the way back from November 2020. If you told someone here in December, a month later, at $60, that it's going to go all the way back down to $25, I'm not so sure they're going to believe you. There's a 9 here that didn't get retested. Hey, look at that. Exactly where the 9 is, for some strange reason, we bounced off of it. This stuff works. The TD sequential works. We had a 9 here for sell, sold off, retested back above it, price bumped up, found support, kind of like at this 30 area. Now we're trending back up. The RSI is not overbought yet. It's starting to trend back up. The daily starting to trend back up. If we get some good movement, let's look at I say good movement. We get some good buyers. We can look at the OBV. That's huge spike down, up. Buyers came back in. That's an aggressive, price started to break down here. Buyers came back in. If we can break above this area, this level of negative 399, it's the values doesn't really matter. It's just you're looking at this as an indicator. It's trending up with price. We break this again on the 4 hour. We're probably going to go higher here. And then if we can break this, we would go higher than the all-time high. And we would start to exit and look for exits based on our account. Here, the 5. The 5 was on December 22nd. Was there a 9 there? No, but we had gone overbought, and then we had a big reversal candle. But was there something on the smaller time frame? Yeah, there was a 9 on the smaller time frame, the 4 hour. So maybe the 4 hour is better here. We look for a 9. Maybe some consolidation, go higher. But I entered there, and it was a good trade. And a lot of times, trades that you take, you don't have to wait long. You'll know within a day or 2 days if that's a good trade. Because usually your great trades run very quickly. You take the position, and they're at an area of, where they're close to breakout. The CMF's flat on the daily. That could trend up. It was trending up on the 4 hour, and it broke this level here, this mid-range level. On the hourly, it was trending up. What else was I looking at? I thought I saw something else. No, maybe. Oh yeah, Ichimoku. Let's look at this. There wasn't much here because it's such a new asset. I think with the settings I have, well, you can kind of imagine that this would go straight across this red line here, because that's probably where it is. So we're sitting at resistance. We broke out above that resistance. We can look at our longer 3MAs. Let's clean this. I can get rid of that. They started to trend back up on the 4 hour. I want to go on the weekly. Nope, daily. Yeah, so there was some selling, spike. Now this would tell you, I would have exited. I would have entered back here based on this strategy. Right here, 100% at around $13. And I would have taken 15% out, and I would add that 15 back in once we get this 3MA above the 8MA, the short term above the intermediate. And we were so close, and there was so much momentum. You probably could have entered and maybe anticipated it. It would have been nice if price would have got above these areas. But next week, if we get above 40, maybe we get above 40, we get, another 10%, 15% week. There's nothing here to keeping us from going up. Fubo does, I think they're like sports oriented. But yeah, so that's the trades. I'm kind of in, not investment advice. I'm just trying to show you what I'm doing, how this has worked for me. Yeah, just looking at Bitcoin real quick again. Yeah, so that's about it. Any questions, leave them in the comments. Any requests to look at stocks, leave those in the comments. Again, not investment advice, just an analysis of what it is and how I would approach them. So hopefully people are learning and, trying to understand really how this trading works and markets and stuff. So thanks for watching.